So the difference between the people who have the unfair advantage is they do it, and that's why they continue to have that unfair advantage.
Welcome to The Unfair Advantage, where leaders reveal the edge behind great careers and companies. And today, to kick off the very, very first episode, we are going to share with you the why behind this podcast and also, what you're going to be expecting in the next coming episodes. So sitting here with me is David Lowe, GM of Move Private Fitness, and myself is the co-founder of Move Private Fitness. So yeah, we're going to go right into the very first question that we have. Why start a podcast now?
I think we've always wanted to bring our message out there, and what better way than to create a podcast. Hopefully people will listen to it and hopefully get some insights from it. And I think in our day-to-day conversations, not just between us, but even with our managers, our coaches, our team, there's a lot of golden nuggets there. So I do believe that using this podcast, we will be inviting some of these people over and just chatting with them. We might even invite our clients as well, because our clients come from a plethora of different businesses and different experiences. So to me, yeah, this podcast is definitely a very good way to just, to just really, what's that word I'm looking for? It's just a combination and addition of experiences from everyone to see how we can create an unfair advantage that will work for everyone.
Do you believe there's such thing as unfair advantage?
I'm actually a big believer of the unfair advantage, because I've actually mentioned this to a lot of people in my life. If you come from a rich family, it's an unfair advantage. If you have more talent, it is an unfair advantage. If you have, if you're already in a company that gives you a very good environment, it is already an unfair advantage. But I think what most people misconstrue on the message is they think that, I have an unfair advantage. They focus on the word unfair. I think it's unfair that I have an advantage. But the way I see it's like, it doesn't matter where you start, it's how you finish. So if you can just double down on the advantage, right? Just do what you need to do, because if you do it well and you create a great company or you create something great for yourself, pay it forward. There's a ripple effect. And that's what I believe the unfair advantage should be. Focus on the advantage, not how unfair it is.
Right. So at the same time, on the flip side, there is also people who say, hey, it's unfair that he or she has that advantage, right? So I think this podcast is really for you to know, you know what? At the end of the day, like what David said, it's not about how you started, what you were given in life, right? Like a rich family, rich uncle, a great company. And sometimes it's just about learning the insights that great leaders are doing that you're not doing, or most people are not doing, so that you can actually evolve in your career, in your business, in a way where you don't always have to push harder, but sometimes by just doing something a little bit different that will set you apart from the rest in the market, that will give you the unfair advantage. And I always like this saying of category champion. It is a term coined by a book called Play Bigger, right? And after reading that book, I realized how important it is to be the number one in whatever category that you're pursuing. That will give you a huge unfair advantage. They did research or survey. They found out that up to 76% of the market share is captured by category champion. So then that will lead you to multiple opportunities beyond what you currently are given. So for example, I think in Malaysia, you probably know Lee Chong Wei. He was the Olympic,
I think 3 times Olympic medalist,
Yes.
silver. Sorry, I don't really follow badminton, but then he went through cancer, he went through a lot of things in life, yet he still emerged. So did he get an unfair advantage?
I think he did get an unfair advantage by being the number one.
How unfair?
Nobody knows or remembers who the number 2 was. I can't even think of a name.
Lin Dan?
The other, no, not Ling Dan.
Not Lin Dan.
I mean, just within Malaysia context, right?
Within Malaysia.
Yeah, so you see, he's retired for more than a decade.
Yeah.
And he's still getting deals, business opportunities, left, right.
Yeah.
Right? He's still relevant until today. That's crazy.
I think when you have an unfair advantage and you double down on it, and you do the work. I think a lot of people mistaken an unfair advantage as, oh, he's got an unfair advantage. They are rich, so they can do better. How many successful second generations do you know that actually run their own business from the ground up? It's actually not a lot. If you look at the statistics, it's actually pretty bad. So I think there is often a misunderstanding, thinking that, put it this way, you know the story between the hare and the tortoise, right? The hare has an unfair advantage. But at the end of the story, who won? The tortoise. How did they win? They just kept going and going, going. The hare got cocky and then started to rest, and then they never went past the finish line. So that's the problem with people who have talent, who have family wealth. Or, I'm not saying everyone, but I'm just saying think of these people in this category. Think about it. Someone once told me, did you know, David, there are a lot of Lionel Messis and Cristiano Ronaldos in this world, but only one of them became actual CR7, and only one of them actually became Messi, right? Because all of them had the unfair advantage, but only one of each category became their category king. They worked hard, they grind, and they were prepared for opportunity. Yeah.
That's right. And I think over the last few decades, we've worked in different industries, like yourself, multiple industries, and also for me, nearly 20 years in the fitness industry. We realized the people who actually stood out, right, or went on to become exceptional, they are willing to do the work, right? At the same time, they know the edge they need to get themselves into in order for them to stand out in the very noisy marketplace or very competitive workplace. So I think this podcast is not just for founders, not just for entrepreneurs, it's for whoever that strive for excellence, right? So over the past, running Move Private Fitness, I think we have observed people joining us. Some just took 3 months or less to stand out, even with very little experience. And oftentimes we ask them, what are you doing differently? Quite often it's the little things that they are willing to do that most people are overlooking that give them that unfair advantage. So sometimes, would it be right to say that unfair advantage actually comes to you when you are willing to do the things that people aren't willing to do?
I think that's 200% correct. People may be born with unfair advantage, talent, wealth, connections, and network, but I do believe that only takes you so far, right? What I find is most talented people can be lazy. Interesting enough, when you mentioned that, the first thing that was in my mind is, what this podcast will try to probably tell you is that a lot of people who make it, who are very successful, are not very clever, they are not very smart, but they will do what's needed. And they will often find things that they need to do that the rest of the people do not want to do. Or maybe I'll sum that in a quote I've heard in this podcast by Chris Williamson. He said, the magic is found in the things that you do not want to do. So I do believe that, if I'm speaking to the audience here, I think at the end of the day, you know the things that you need to do to get you there, but you also know that you do not want to do it. So the difference between the people who have the unfair advantage is they do it, and that's why they continue, keyword, they continue to have that unfair advantage.
Right. And we hope that this podcast can be a source of inspiration for your team. Imagine you are a business owner and you have a team of staff, employees, partners. And sometimes it's very hard for them to get things going because hearing the same old voice saying, let's go, let's LFG, it's, they don't respond as well from time to time. So I believe that this podcast can be, something where you share it with them so that they go, oh yeah, you're right. But I had to hear it from another voice, right? Because we've done that a lot of time. We've done that with many other podcasts where we heard it, we resonated, and then we share it with our team. So same goes for you. So we hope that there is a lot of things that will resonate with you, not just as a business owner, but also feeling like, hey, look, my team might benefit from just hearing this one episode or two. Please help share to your team.
Can I also just finish off by saying, perhaps this podcast will also shed light to you guys and girls, right? That actually to really move the needle, to get to get to unfair advantage, it's not by doing the big things. It's really focusing on the small little things, right? Because the unfair advantage is focusing on the small little things. You know, the things that are being swept under the rug that no one wants to see, that no one wants to do. Those are the things that really, really move the needle. So if you feel like you're not doing the right thing, you're inadequate, I need to do things that are 30 to 100% better and stuff like that. We're here to literally tell you, if you can compound the 0.1% changes, that actually moves the needle a lot in time. Yeah.
So the good news is we will be sharing with you insights and also ideas, strategy in how you can make a shift in small little things in culture, marketing, sales, leadership. What else?
I think
Management.
I would say, management, sales, right? You mentioned sales already.
Yeah.
So I would even say like, hey, once we get this going, we've got a comment section in the box. Drop us a text. What would you like to ask? What would you like to find out more? And if we do have the expertise, we have great clients who have a lot of these amazing insights that they can share as well. We'll bring them in. Look, we just started this podcast. It's not going to be perfect, but we do what we can.
So the kind of format that you would expect from this podcast will be a few things, right? It will be something like this, where we are sitting together, sharing insights and experiences, where you are sitting there almost like watching a masterclass or as if we are doing a panel discussion. Another one will be interviewing people that are, like you said, our clients, the people that we know who might be able to offer you insights in marketing, sales, leadership, culture, management, right? Another one is, sometimes there are news out there that come up. And we feel like, hey, look, I think, for us being in the business, being in the industry, we have something to share, like something where a lot of people do not even think of or people overlook, right? So that will be one thing that you expect, so that you don't always just hear another me and David talking to each other and talking about what we do currently in Move, right? You'll also hear, okay, the news that coming up in Malaysia, in any country really. So if you have anything that you would like us to discuss, bring it up. Hear our advantage of being in the, or hear our ideas that come from the advantage of us being the operator, being in the fitness industry, and also helping multiple businesses, right? So I think that would be very, very cool.
And let's keep it fun, let's keep it raw, and let's keep it real. So you can see we're not scripting anything, we just got some points that we want to share. But yeah, do drop your comments below, but remember, share, like, and follow, and let's see where this takes us, the unfair advantage.
One more thing, if there's anything you disagree, please also comment so that we can perhaps have a conversation, all right? And if there's anything that we end up, saying it too, I don't know, we're just too out there.
It's okay. There's no. I think there's no right and wrong. I think at the end of the day, a podcast is a voice. There's no right and wrong. There can only be better.
Yep.
And we are human. We will make mistakes. So it is what it is.
All right. So that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next episode.